You know, when we talk about resolutions for New Year's, so many times we're talking about losing weight, or we're talking about quitting smoking, or we're talking about being better with our time management. But how about a resolution just to do something new in 2015, or maybe take on a new hobby? This morning, Sherry's with us from Hobbytown, USA. Talk a little bit about that. And perhaps a new hobby might involve, Sherry, a radio-controlled. I could fill in the blank there. It could be a car, it could be a boat, it could be, I'm not going to mention helicopters after last time.
We actually can get into airplanes, we can get into quads, we can get into the drones. Matter of fact, here at Hobbytown, USA, we have an indoor dirt track where you can bring out your vehicle, play on the track, rain or shine, heat or cold, where it's all about playing with your new hobby.
All right, so let's start with this, Sherry. First of all, the radio-controlled everything is so much, to me, better than it was 5 years ago. Don't you agree?
Oh, very much so. I totally agree.
So what are the major advances? Oh, wow. What makes it better today than 5 years ago? Well,
the technology has changed quite a bit. I mean, the motors have changed from brush to brushless, allowing more voltage to go through these vehicles. You know, average speed out of the box is about 30 miles an hour, all the way up to 70, 80, even 90 miles an hour on batteries.
Wow. That's impressive. And again, I think the other thing is scale. You know, at one time you only saw one size car, and that would be about it. Now you see them of all scales, don't you?
And that's true. I mean, you know, whether it's 16th scale, 18th scale, you know, something like the buggy that I have in my hand right now that's a 10th scale. I mean, that's a 50-mile-an-hour buggy.
Well, I like the durability, too. You just grabbed it and kind of tossed it back down, which tells me they're pretty tough.
Oh, they're extremely tough. You know, and that's the whole thing. The difference between, you know, a remote control car that you can buy at a, you know, regular big box store versus a hobby shop. I mean, everything on these vehicles are modifiable, replaceable. See, he just crashed it and is still going.
Several times.
So, you know, everything here, I mean, you're not just buying a disposable toy, you're buying something that can last you for a long period of time.
Well, now, I guess from my age and my remembrance of a hobby shop, Sherry, you know, it would be like airplanes or RC planes. And guys would spend weeks building them, right? With all the dope and everything, you know, putting them together. Are they coming out of the box ready to go, or am I going to have to build my own buggy?
I mean, you do actually have a choice still. You can still build. Society today basically wants to open up the box and go play. So it's instant gratification, open the box, charge up the batteries, and go play.
So that's,
you know, at a higher level.
Yeah.
That's correct. At a higher level, you can actually still build a kit.
All right. Okay, let's talk about, we're looking at buggies, but it can go everything from buggies. If you don't want to play in the dirt, you can play in the water with the RC boats, right?
That's correct. I mean, we're going to show in the second segment a whole bunch of boats that we have a choice to see. We've got boats that'll basically go anywhere from 50 to 60 miles an hour on batteries. All right. You know, everybody's like, oh, I want the noise and the smell of nitro, but the efficiency is in the electric vehicles now.
So has everyone pretty much gone to the battery instead of to the fuels?
And they really have. I mean, whether it's an airplane or a car or a truck, it's pretty much electric now.
Talk to me about price point. If I want to start a new hobby, what's it going to be? What's my investment going to be?
The beginning level of an RC car, basically you're looking at about $150 for a 20-mile-an-hour vehicle. So it's inexpensive.
And then goes up, obviously, from there based on modifications, right?
That's correct. I mean, something like a e-Revo that pushes out 5.5 horsepower, you're looking at $700, $800.
What about same thing true if I want to go RC airplanes instead of cars?
That is correct. I mean, it's still, they're using the battery-powered motors, the brushless motors. You know, an average ready-to-fly airplane is going to probably run you about $200 to $300.
Now, I know that there are RC clubs all over Southeast Texas. Is that helpful if you want to be an enthusiast? I mean, you know, the social aspect of the sport, of the hobby?
Very much so. I mean, this is something that, you know, fathers and sons, fathers and daughters, mothers and daughters, I mean, it brings families together.
And of course, I guess, you know, networking, you also learn more about your particular interests by going out to these different events, right?
And that's very true. I mean, one way for you guys to keep up with what we're doing, go to our Facebook page, which is Hobbytown USA Beaumont. You can find out what's going on, the sales, the you know, the racing. If we're going to do racing on the weekends, you'll find out what the schedules are. Talk to your friends, you know, see what they're posting. Just keep online and keep with the social media, and you're going to find out more and more.
All right, I got one more question for you. Number one seller, Christmas that we just completed. Are drones outselling everything else now?
Pretty much they are. It was split for us, mainly a Traxxas Stampede and then a Blade 350 drone. It was pretty equal this year.
So, and when we come back a little bit later on, we'll kind of talk about, you know, a lot of people I know they have questions about drones and legality and what do I have to worry about and can I or can't I, you know, fly my drone in this place or that place. And we'll jump into some of that a bit later on.
That's good, because matter of fact, we have a video on our Facebook page from the FAA showing what you can and cannot do with these drones.
All right, we'll come back and check that out in just a minute. Sherry, thanks for your time. It's 29 past the hour. If you want to know more, maybe you're interested in the idea of remote control in some form as a new hobby, you can check it out at Hobbytown USA here in Beaumont. Up next, time for resolving to eat less, exercise more. But how do you stick to those goals as you head into a brand new year? We'll get you some ideas coming up next on The Morning Show.